Hello friends, my name is Michael. I am going to keep today's video pretty short and sweet because I do have a pretty long list of other videos coming, and I mostly want to spend today just getting some things off my chest, kind of sharing my experience over the last couple of weeks, and hopefully helping some people along the way. If you're new here, I am nearly 30 and filled with regret, and so I started this YouTube channel as a way to document my journey to kind of becoming the me that I want to be. Feel like some of the challenges that I might face along the way likely resonate with some people, and thought that sharing my experiences along the way could be helpful. If you are returning to my channel, you likely saw my first two videos that mentioned I'd be uploading weekly, and you also probably recognize that that was 7 months ago, which I don't understand how that even happens. Few updates though. Desk upgrade / office area / apartment rearranging happened. I filmed a lot of it, and there's still a little bit I want to do, but then I feel like I'll make a video showing my new space that I live in, that I've created for myself to, I don't know, help with this new version of me I'm trying to become. So a lot has happened in the last 7 months, mostly happy, incredible, awesome, amazing things, but then we really just hit a wall. And as someone who suffers from chronic anxiety and a panic disorder, it's been a roller coaster. And so today I mostly just wanted to A, validate a lot of the feelings that I feel like people are having, and B, provide some insight into some of the things that have been helping me, and ideally you take away one or a couple things that, you know, help you cope with the state of the world right now. So a little backstory. At the end of January, I had a work trip where I had a layover in Seattle and then flew to Orlando. And as soon as I landed in Orlando, I did not feel great. I barely made it through the week with a little bit of a fever and a sore throat, tiniest bit of a cough, but nothing really. And then when we got home a week later, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck, had like 104-degree fever, and that's actually when I separated from the company that I was working for at the time. I spent the next 4 or 5 days kind of bummed out and recovering, but quickly was able to snap out of it and realize that I wanted to use this time to do something that I'd just been daydreaming about for years. It's actually something that has been able to become reality, and something that I was able to create and actually get going, which I'm incredibly, incredibly thankful for, but that's, you know, for another video. Anyway, so work trip, really sick, not working there anymore. Month later, I have, spent 2-3 weeks building this company and having success and really, really enjoying it. Then about 3 weeks ago, this virus had been spreading and was really blowing up in Italy and Spain and even the United States in a way that I don't think that I ever thought that I would even imagine would happen in my lifetime. Those that know me well know that I am a massive hypochondriac and terrified of just dying. And again, people were being let go, people were dying, people were filing for unemployment at incredible rates. I didn't know what was going on or why it was happening or how to cope with it, so I was just paralyzed with anxiety. And then about 3 days into that spike in panic and fear, I was shaken out of bed by the biggest earthquake to hit Salt Lake City since 1992. I had never been in an earthquake. Everything I knew about earthquakes came from movies like 2012 or San Andreas, where the earth just opens up and swallows entire cities whole. And I was actually already having a nightmare when I was shaken out of bed. And so that spike in adrenaline and that panic response, I didn't come down from for hours. And by the time I did, I was physically exhausted from being so emotionally worked up. And then I couldn't stop thinking about Yellowstone. I was like, Jesus, now that's gonna blow up, and it's... Anyway, and then there was this bigger earthquake in Idaho, and Idaho, Yellowstone, just really started to freak out and think that the world was actually going to end. Luckily, I looked it up and everything's fine up there, I think, I hope. Anyway, with all this going on over the span of like a month, maybe, I was just overwhelmed and exhausted and defeated and back down into a rut. I mean, it was to the point where I didn't even leave the couch for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. Luckily, Tiger King had just come out, but I binge watched that whole thing in a day, so it didn't really help much. Anyway, so the first thing that, looking back, I think was a main reason that I was not able to cope with all the things that were happening was just an overall general lack of understanding. Lack of understanding of what it was, how it was spreading, why it was spreading, what it meant if somebody else got it, what it meant if I got it, what could I do to protect myself? You know, there was just so much fear and panic, and it was here and it was real, and I could not stay off Twitter, which did not help. And I also recognized that I wasn't doing a very good job of being mindful. Anyway, so I think that that's one of the reasons why I wasn't able to cope or get a grasp on things, is because I was living so far in the future and making assumptions and focusing on things that were completely out of my control. So the first thing I did that really began to help me was educate myself. So I did as much research from reputable sources that I could on the whats and the whys and the wheres and hows and what happens next and all that stuff. Meanwhile, I isolated for the suggested 2 weeks, and after that time had passed and I hadn't been around anybody new, I started to realize, okay, so I'm probably okay from what has already happened. Now what can I do today and each day moving forward to protect myself and help myself and others? But one of the biggest things that I did was just quit resisting, and I adapted to this new normal. Yes, this sucks and I wish it wasn't happening, but there's no time machine that I know of. I can't go back, I can't skip forward. All I have is today. The clock keeps ticking, the sand keeps falling. So I just needed to focus on actionable things that were in my control. And lastly, just for my own peace of mind, I really started to take inventory of the things that I was grateful for and appreciative of. So looking back, the steps that I took that helped me were, 1, isolate, and that way I knew that I was safe from my past and the places that I had already been, and I was able to focus on today and each day moving forward. 2, educate myself. And so what I did was I found this website that is an open source project that gives you live real-time stats and data on this virus around the world, and seeing the numbers and having truth and logic helped. 3 was adapt. Grieving is important, and I do think that everybody needs to honor those feelings of fear and the sense of loss, the loss of our freedom, of our sense of safety, of our normalcy, of our routines. Like that, there's real and actual loss there, and so it's okay to grieve, but we can't stay there for too long. 4, gratitude. That's what really, really helped ground me and keep me present and kept me from thinking about all the other things, both in the past and the future, that I couldn't control. I hope this has helped. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. You have no idea how much it helps. For more content like this, becoming the best me that I can be, as well as just funny, entertaining YouTube trends and vlogs, and I don't know what the hell else I'm gonna do, but hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when I post new videos.